Hello, I'm Dr. Ramzi, a general dentist and the inventor of the Ramzi Extractor. In this presentation, I'll take you through the journey of how this instrument was born, from the idea and the need behind it, to the experimentation process that brought it to life. I'll then break down its design, explaining how each part contributes to its unique performance. And finally, I'll introduce a technique that, when combined with the Ramzi Extractor, has the potential to revolutionize tooth extractions as we know them. So let's begin. Why I invented it. As a general dentist, I've bought and encountered countless extraction instruments, many of which I rarely use because they simply don't work in every case. I used to believe that each instrument was designed for a specific situation, but in reality, that was only true about half the time. The constant uncertainty made extractions more stressful than they needed to be. Choosing the right instrument often felt like a guessing game rather than a reliable process. Even with my regular instruments, I often find myself second guessing. Should I use the larger or smaller one, the one curved or the less curved? This lack of consistency is frustrating. Extractions take longer than expected, and I frequently end up using 4 or 5 different instruments just to get the job done. And the problem isn't just mine. Every extra step adds stress not only for the dentist, but for the patient too. I knew there had to be a better way. I needed one instrument that could handle every extraction consistently, efficiently, and without the stress. That need became my driving force, pushing me to design a more versatile all-in-one dental instrument. Why is the Ramzi Extractor an elevator? While tooth crowns come in many shapes and sizes, roots are far more predictable. They generally follow a conical shape. Even multi-rooted teeth become single-rooted once separated. That's why I designed a universal elevator instead of a universal forceps. Forceps rely on crown shape, which is too inconsistent to be truly universal. At the end of the day, we're extracting roots, not crowns. The crowns are already out, right? Teeth needing extraction often have weakened crowns, whether from extensive caries or failed restorations beyond repair. Forceps only make this worse. The pressure they apply on the crown can cause it to break, leaving the root behind and making the forceps useless to complete the extraction. With forceps ruled out, I focused on designing a root elevator that could work for all teeth. This became easier once I considered that tooth roots share a similar shape. Even molar roots, once separated, extracting a molar is essentially the same as extracting 2 or 3 incisors. At this point, my objective became crystal clear. I needed one elevator that could remove any root efficiently, reliably, and with the same success every time. The design. After testing all the available elevators, I found that none of them possessed all the characteristics I needed to make it my single choice for every extraction. Some lacked grip, some lacked power, and some lacked accessibility in the mouth. I wanted an instrument that could combine all these features: an excellent grip, very powerful momentum forces, and the ability to be used anywhere in the mouth on any quadrant. The experimentation. To begin the design process, I experimented with a model made of warmed red wax into which I inserted extracted teeth and roots. The resistance of the cooled wax and surrounding teeth was sufficient to simulate the dynamics of forces, although it didn't replicate the actual forces inside the mouth. Nonetheless, the model provided a useful basis for comparing my new elevator design with existing ones. I then tested the new design in the mouth and returned to the model for further refinement until I achieved the desired level of satisfaction. Once I finalized the design, I produced around 20 identical pieces, and from 2020 to 2022, over 2 years, I used the instrument for 95% of my extractions, both simple and surgical, without the need of any additional tools. The head features 5 spikes that define 4 grooves, 2 smaller ones, G1, G2, and 2 larger ones, G3 and G4. The design of the Ramzi Extractor gives the instrument all those following characteristics. The first characteristic, stability. The spikes and the grooves increase drastically the number of fulcrums, surpassing any other existing elevator. This design provides a very reliable grip on the root, ensuring that purchasing points are highly stable and efficient for the luxating and elevating movements. This is immediately felt by the operator when the extractor is inserted, giving a lock effect prior to starting the luxation movement. Compared to the Ramzi Extractor, most elevators currently available on the market have fewer purchasing points and transmit weaker forces on the root. This can make them less efficient and unstable during luxation and elevating movements, and require the operator to apply higher forces to compensate, increasing the risk of slippage and potential accidents. The second characteristic, rotation. The second characteristic of the Ramzi Extractor is its ability to introduce a new movement, the rotation. The multiple spikes on the head of the instrument guarantee at least 2 purchasing points at any time, creating a momentum that develops this new type of movement. Just like a spanner effect on a bolt, now we have a secondary movement, the rotation, in the horizontal plane. That has the effect of twisting the root on its vertical axis. That effect will loosen even more the periodontal ligament. The rotation movement will always accompany both our main movements, the luxation and the elevation. The third characteristic, controlled power. The larger grooves of the Ramzi Extractor deliver an exponential increase in controlled power, making extractions more efficient with minimal effort. The process begins with a small groove, example G1, that initiates the lift. As the instrument engages horizontally, the larger groove, example G3, securely embraces the root. At this point, the 3 combined movements, luxation, elevation, and rotation, work together to remove the root with very little force from the operator. If resistance persists, the instrument is engaged vertically, allowing the small groove G1 to grip the root at a deeper level, applying progressive force until the root is fully extracted. Additionally, if needed, the same maneuvers can be applied from a different angle, engaging G2 and G4 for further assist in dislodging the root. The fourth characteristic, thinness. The Ramzi Extractor's ultra-thin design allows it to engage quickly and easily between the root and the bone, enabling immediate luxation. In rare cases where no access path is available, a very thin surgical burr or even a standard burr can create just enough space for insertion. Since the instrument requires minimal access, no additional invasive steps are needed. The fifth characteristic, soft tissue elevation. An unexpected advantage of the Ramzi Extractor is its ability to perform soft tissue elevation. Initially, I used a periosteal elevator alongside the Ramzi Extractor, but over time I realized it wasn't needed. The Ramzi Extractor could perform the task on its own. The manufacturing. All of the Ramzi Extractor's characteristics, especially its thinness, come with a challenge. If the head is too thick, the instrument loses its defining features. But if it's too thin, it risks breaking. My first experimental prototypes, made by an unknown brand, would often snap under pressure. I needed a metal strong enough to maintain thinness without compromising durability. A material that could preserve all the instrument's characteristics while ensuring unmatched strength and reliability. Only Karl Martin in Germany could manufacture it. In 2023, I worked closely with the excellent team at Karl Martin, refining the new prototypes until we reached perfection. None broke during the rigorous testing period, which lasted from 2023 to 2024. I personally tested the instrument on my own patients during this time, and after every extraction, I was simply amazed. Preparing the field. Before using the Ramzi Extractor, I take advantage of the waiting time after administering anesthesia to properly prepare the field. For single-rooted teeth, I file the interproximal sides of the tooth to be extracted, creating enough space for the movement when forces are applied. For multi-rooted teeth, I always start by reviewing the X-ray to assess the root anatomy. If the molar has clearly distinct roots, I reduce the crown height almost completely, removing it. This gives me excellent visibility, allowing me to separate the roots from the start before introducing the extractor. If the roots appear grouped into a single conical mass, I treat it like a single-rooted tooth and simply file the interproximal sides. In conclusion, my invention was born out of a need, the need to eliminate the frustration and stress that often accompany tooth extractions. By designing a universal extractor, I have gained full control over every extraction, removing uncertainty and surprises from the process. The Ramzi Extractor has been a game changer for me. It has become an extension of my hand and even my brain, executing every movement exactly as I intend. I no longer struggle with instruments that feel foreign and unresponsive, forcing me to constantly switch from one tool to another, hoping to find the right one. This instrument belongs in every dental school. Dental students should start using it early, mastering extractions with confidence. Later in their careers, they are free to explore other tools, but they will always know that when things get complicated, the Ramzi Extractor is here to save them. Let me leave you with this final thought. Talking about the Ramzi Extractor will spark curiosity, but experiencing it firsthand is the only way to truly understand its value. Once in your hand, you'll feel it not only responding seamlessly to your movements, but actually guiding you, almost like a GPS for extractions. It's simply amazing. Try it and you'll never want to work without it. I promise you that. We'll meet again for another video soon.